King Asa had an army of 300,000 warriors from the tribe of Judah, armed with large shields and spears. He also had an army of 280,000 warriors from the tribe of Benjamin, armed with small shields and bows. Both armies were composed of well-trained fighting men. I guess, the ones with the large shields and spears were kind of more the frontliners, and then the smaller shields and bows, especially being bows, were, more your rangers hung around in the back, and, honestly, pretty decent battle formation going on there. Interesting that it split in such a way that it's like the one tribe had this type of warrior and the other tribe had a different type that just so happened to work well together. What's up, cool people? My name's Matt. Welcome back to our Bible study. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 14. So last chapter described at least one major event in the reign of King Abijah of Judah, who was Rehoboam's son, and that's really only like 2 generations removed from Solomon then. But they mentioned a big battle between Judah and Israel. Judah was victorious because they followed the Lord, and not only followed but trusted in the Lord. Meanwhile, the opposing army of Israel did not, so they were routed, as I believe. I think that was one of the words that it used. But yeah, God's people split into 2 different kingdoms, and they are clearly at odds with each other. But I guess we'll get what happened after Abijah's death in this chapter. So, here we go. 2 Chronicles chapter 14. There's actually a note here at the top. Verse 14:1 is numbered 1323 in the Hebrew text. The ancient manuscripts that they do the translating from. I'll go ahead and read this paragraph and then make my own conclusion if it fits better here or would have been better at the end of the previous chapter. But it doesn't really matter too much what I think about that. Anywho, okay. When Abijah died, he was buried in the city of David. Then his son Asa became the next king. There was peace in the land for 10 years. Asa did what was pleasing and good in the sight of the Lord his God. He removed the foreign altars and the pagan shrines. He smashed the sacred pillars and cut down the Asherah poles. He commanded the people of Judah to seek the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and to obey his law and his commands. Asa also removed the pagan shrines as well as the incense altars from every one of Judah's towns. So Asa's kingdom enjoyed a period of peace. During those peaceful years, he was able to build up the fortified towns throughout Judah. No one tried to make war against him at this time, for the Lord was giving him rest from his enemies. Pausing there. Okay, so definitely a good start for the next king after Abijah. Okay, so Asa is his son. So we're now 3 generations from Solomon. Now, I don't know if it's focusing on Judah because this is, or was originally intended for the Israelites who were exiled by Babylon, or if it's just that's kind of how the sequence of events is flowing. It did mention Jeroboam's death at the end of the previous chapter as well, but I'm not sure if he died before Abijah or maybe a little bit after. In any case, so honestly, verse 1 here could be in either this chapter or the one before, and it would make some sense to me. Oh, yeah, the second note there is just mentioning that what we see as verse 2 here is verse 1 in the Hebrew, and just kind of getting the other end of the first note that we saw there. But King Asa is doing good things. Getting rid of most, if not all, of the shrines, altars, and other things dedicated to other gods besides the Lord. So, I guess partially or even mostly because of that, things were peaceful for a while. Perhaps, the defeat of Israel in the previous chapter had something to do with that too. And then because of things being peaceful, he's able to kind of, make their defenses stronger and prepare better for whenever the next war breaks out. So, then we have verse 7. Asa told the people of Judah, "Let us build towns and fortify them with walls, towers, gates, and bars. The land is still ours because we sought the Lord our God, and he has given us peace on every side." So they went ahead with these projects and brought them to completion. King Asa had an army of 300,000 warriors from the tribe of Judah, armed with large shields and spears. He also had an army of 280,000 warriors from the tribe of Benjamin, armed with small shields and bows. Both armies were composed of well-trained fighting men. So, that combined army is even bigger than the one his father brought out to fight against the opposing army of Israel. Because that was 400,000. This, in total, between Judah and Benjamin, is 580,000 warriors. And I guess, the ones with the large shields and spears were kind of more the frontliners. And then the smaller shields and bows, especially being bows, were, more your rangers hung around in the back. And, honestly, pretty decent battle formation going on there. Interesting that it split in such a way that it's like the one tribe had this type of warrior and the other tribe had a different type that just so happened to work well together. Alright, on to verse 9. Once an Ethiopian named Zerah attacked Judah with an army of 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots. That seems like a very low ratio of chariots to men. Anyway, they advanced to the town of Marishah. So Asa deployed his armies for battle in the valley north of Marishah. Then Asa cried out to the Lord his God, "O Lord, no one but you can help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord our God, for we trust in you alone. It is in your name that we have come against this vast horde. O Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere men prevail against you." So the Lord defeated the Ethiopians in the presence of Asa and the army of Judah, and the enemy fled. Asa and his army pursued them as far as Gerar, and so many Ethiopians fell that day. It fell that they were unable to rally. Okay, so many of them fell that they were unable to rally. Gotcha. They were destroyed by the Lord and his army, and the army of Judah carried off a vast amount of plunder. While they were at Gerar, they attacked all the towns in that area, and terror from the Lord came upon the people there. As a result, a vast amount of plunder was taken from these towns too. They also attacked the camps of herdsmen and captured many sheep, goats, and camels before finally returning to Jerusalem. So, all this time working on the defenses paid off because they get attacked by an army that is not quite double in size. At least if this is accurate. The only reason I question that is because of the note there. Or an army of thousands and thousands. Hebrew reads an army of 1,000 thousands, which would indeed be 1,000,000. So maybe that's why they went with 1,000,000 there. But it could have been even more, the way that the first part of that note is worded. There's almost a parallel there with the difference or the ratio of army sizes with this battle here compared to the battle of Judah and Israel in the previous chapter. And wouldn't you know it, the victory is similarly great for Judah. But, like, notice, yeah, Asa deployed his armies, but, like, before too much has happened, I would think, he cries out to the Lord, his God. So, like, he is seeking the Lord in these things, specifically. Whereas it doesn't really mention that for, say, Rehoboam, when he, got attacked by King Shishak of Egypt a few chapters ago. So once again, following and seeking after God is a crucial point in the success of Judah. And not only do they push the opposing army back, but they then even, like, gain some more territory and wealth from that. All right. Time to read through the notes here that I didn't already look at. Instead of Ethiopian, the Hebrew says a Cushite. I think that's just what that area was known as back then. Like, what is now Ethiopia was probably known as Cush back in those times. And deployed his armies in the note there, the valley north of Marishah. That comes from the Greek version. Hebrew reads valley of Zephathah. Yeah, near Marishah. I mean, it was still near Marishah either way. It's just saying the valley of Zephathah doesn't specifically give any direction in relation to that. But that might have been where Zephathah was. Also, as I'm passing by it, noting what Asa says in his prayer of a sort to the Lord, basically being like, look, we trust that you can handle this. Really, you're the only one who can. And so we pray for your aid in this. And right at the end, do not let mere men prevail against you. It's like, all right, kinda... We're kinda asking for your help, not just for our sake, but for yours. Because if these people defeat us, who worship you, it makes you, our God, look bad. Anyway, so the Lord defeated the Ethiopians. That says Cushites in the Hebrew. Takes care of all the notes there. So, yeah, I guess... Well, it says they attacked towns near Gerar. I don't know if it says they took over those towns, per se. But it does say they took a lot of plunder. And some, just animals, we'll say. I was going to say flocks, but then I read camels. I don't know if a group of camels is really considered a flock. Some livestock, we'll say. I don't know. So, yeah. I don't really have too many other thoughts on this. It's another victory for Judah because they followed and sought the Lord. Different king, different time, different army they're fighting against, but similar result. Okay, so now not only is the king of Judah following God, but, like, there's even a removing of idols and other things that would turn the people away from God. So, it seems like things are going pretty well in Judah, including on that front. But if you know stuff from back in 1st and 2nd Kings, and or like even Judges before that, it's unfortunately, when it comes to God's people, it doesn't just continue going smoothly for a really long time, seemingly ever. But anyway, this king is doing well, though. But anyway, let me not digress on tangents and all that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Share with others if you want them to see. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get updates when I post new videos. Look down in the description for links to social media pages, Discord server, supporter page, any links to anything you might want to get to that would have my content, and ways to interact with me and what I'm doing. And of course, speaking of those interactions, you can go down below the video in the description to the comment section to leave any thoughts and questions you have. So that's it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video, but whatever the case is, until next time, stay cool, people.